Hi, my name's Luke Sheldrick. I own and operate Terramore Farm with my wife Dana. We're 45 minutes west of Ottawa. We do organic vegetables and cut flowers. We have a crew of 8 and we serve 3 farmers markets, a bunch of retail and restaurants, and over 100 CSAs per week. This week, oh yeah, and this is a weekly vlog. We had a wild week. I went to 2 amazing farms, Ferme, Quatre, what is up with that hair? Ferme, Quatre, and Farm Agricola, and they were amazing. Like, if you don't know these farms, they're amazing farms, and I got to tour them. So it was quick, it was brief, but it's totally worth checking out. And then also the reason I was there was to pick up the grafted tomatoes that all of ours died. So it was a wild week. We got all that in the ground. I was gone from the farm 2 days. The crew was crushing it. We got the pump set up for the irrigation outside. Check it all out. This episode is probably the best so far, so check this one out and enjoy. These 2 farms I'm going to are super wicked, so I'm looking forward to meeting them. I've met Catherine from Ferme Quatre at the Guelph conference that I spoke at this year, but I have not met in person anyone from Agricola. I've just seen their stuff on Instagram and spoken to them on that, but I've never actually met them, so that's gonna be really neat. Both farms I have a ton of respect for. Really, really great farms. So it's 11 feet deep, 6.5 feet, or 6 3/4 feet wide. So some quick math, converted to inches, 10-20 trays are 200 inches roughly. So I should be able to fit 50 trays in here, which is what I need to fit. And if not, I can put some in the front seat. So fingers crossed. I'm trying to get over 400 tomatoes in here today. I don't know if it's gonna work out. I gotta go to Ferme Quatre first. They've already been potted up, so they're in 6-inch pots, and I'm gonna get over 200 from them. And then I'm supposed to, on the way home, stop by at Agricola and get some that are in 50 cell trays that I will pot up. So we will see, but I'm hoping it all fits. We'll see after Agricola. I gotta get there, 3-hour drive straight past Montreal, and then after I hopefully get to do a little, I hope to have a little tour, but they're very busy, so I'm not gonna like go in with any expectations. I might just be loading this van and getting out of there, but if I can quickly get a shot, I will. No promises, but that'll be up to Catherine. I'll discuss that with her when I get there. So just taking it out of storage and doing a long trip, I wanna be sure that I get my tires pumped to the proper PSI. So this one looked fine, but it's tricky to tell. It had 30 PSI and it needs 65, so that's like legitimately very dangerous. Driven past lots of farms in the valley, but I've never seen like black soil like that. And these are, like, Quebec just has, I don't know, I've just passed like acres and acres and acres, and where I am, that stuff would be sort of like monocrops, and maybe it still is, but these are vegetable. I can tell they're vegetable farms. I just passed 2 like hundreds of acres farms that are just black earth. I don't know if you can see out that window. I'm at Farm Quatre. It's so impressive. I've just met Catherine, who's gonna give me the grafted tomatoes that I've been talking about, and then I'm gonna load them up. So I just met with Catherine. She gave me the advice of taking a tour before the tomatoes get loaded in the van, so I'm just doing that now. And I'm about to hop into the gutter connected greenhouse to check it out. So this is home to their winter crops, and then they've also now put their tomatoes in, so they've got all kinds of beautiful stuff. They have carrots here, and yeah, as I say, the tomatoes are in between the crops. This is the Tokyo Bakara, I think, and beets here. I'm super thankful to have been given the opportunity from Catherine to have a little walk around. The level of infrastructure here is absolutely incredible. So this is cucumbers and summer squash in this greenhouse. They have many greenhouses, so I was just in the gutter connected one. This is a standalone, and they even have a few more standalones. And then also some unheated over there that I'm gonna go check out after. So she's told me the soil actually around here is just extremely high in organic matter. So those black fields, that's the soil type. Full little greenhouse of Salanova. Gotta love that lettuce. Love the efficiency here. Tarps in between. That's awesome. Gems, head lettuce, scallions. This place is awesome. So yeah, look at this nursery. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm so thankful for all these beautiful grafts. So they have beautiful, nice long sticks for theirs. I brought little sticks, so they're not actually gonna work. So I just gotta load this up and take a risk. I might have enough here. We might not even be going to Agricola today, so that's cool. But kind of a bummer, kind of cool. We'll see once we get it loaded in the car. Check that out. Check that out. 200 grafted tomatoes, beautiful. Thank you, Ferme, Quatre. This is them. Thank you, Catherine. I'm just actually so happy. If you're gonna feel the emotions that are like sad when this bad stuff is happening, I think it's really important to remember to let yourself feel really happy when those things are undone or whatnot. So I am extremely happy right now, and it feels very good to have this truck filled with tomatoes. And I want to reflect on how much sadness I experienced during the period of the grafts dying or the cold night and all those negative emotions that I had to feel. And then reflecting on those, I feel helps me enjoy it more. Okay, so these babies have made it to their new home. We're just about to unload into the greenhouse. Their new home is here. Look at that. Oh yeah, here. I gotta see everyone's reaction. Look at those tomatoes. Wait till you see them. What do you think? What do you think?
Okay. Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ferme, Quatre. Woo! So it's gonna be tight on the flip here. It's gonna be a challenge to get these planted tomorrow with the rye and everything. But I knew that when I was doing it, and I'm sure we'll figure it out. Crew's just moving these in now. So it's Wednesday, we just did the morning meeting, and it's a big day ahead. The massive goal is to get the tomatoes transplanted, but like I said, I'm expecting some adversity in here because of that cover crop, and we'll see what we have to do. And we're just gonna pull back these tarps and make a plan. Louise is going ahead and staking the ones that weren't staked. That'll prevent us from having to trellis them right away, which is gonna be great. And you can see some of them that we got from Ferme Quatre already has that, and we're gonna do the same. Okay, so yeah, they're obviously not killed back. And they have really good roots. Like for this to be broken down and the roots to be sort of done, worked in, everything like that would have had to be about 2 weeks ago. So what I'm gonna do is rebuild the beds. So I'm gonna hit them with the BCS rotary plow and sort of kick up dirt into a mound in the middle, then run the tiller over that, and that'll sort of build up a bed so it'll still be flat, but hopefully work in everything that's there. If I wanted it flat, I could just till this up, but I don't think that would accomplish the same goal of sort of getting it all worked up as much. Yeah!
That was 3.
Tomatoes that we're transplanting are in 6-inch pots, and we want to put amendments and compost in the trench. So like we used to just dig each shovel load out, but it almost ended up being a trench anyway. So this is what we do now, and this helps us also because they're grafts. You don't want the soil mounded up, because you could end up actually having the point of the graft has to be above soil level, or you lose all the purposes because the top part will set down adventitious, is that the right word? Oh, I might have to check that one. Roots. So it basically will, the top above the graft will come down and begin to grow, and then that basically makes the entire process redundant. So that's why we don't like to mound it. So that brings me back to liking to have a trench, because then we have extra place to bring the dirt, and it just helps make it all level. So it just like, while we're sort of landscaping them into the ground, this helps to just keep it all flat and smooth. So this is a mix of pelletized chicken manure and then what I call our secret weapon. It's called Turf Shark, and it is a granular kelp and alfalfa meal. And it's absolutely incredible. So we mix them at a rate of like 50-50 because the Turf Shark is a lot more expensive. But this is what we put to amend every bed at a rate of 50 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And also, while I've got you here, let me tell you about these pants. See these pants? These are from Growers & Co. And they not only have a really nice material that's lightweight and water repellent, they also, I think they're water repellent, they also have these inserts that are knee pads. So if I'm gonna transition from doing this to say transplanting tomatoes, these are gonna be a dream. Louise just pointed out, like, look how much cooler I look than her.
Yeah, mine aren't even on my knees anymore.
Yeah, look, they slide down.
Keep lifting them up.
They look like they belong on a dinosaur. They look like a rhinoceros's kneecap. So from my other videos, you know that we need to do things in their entirety, and that includes also this tomato task, because we can't go ahead and do all this and then not irrigate it with the drip. So we're down to an hour and a half, so we just had to make like a crucial decision, and we voted we're gonna go for it. So while Louise and Caitlin are transplanting these, Brandon and Cal are gonna finish trellising the Sakura. The Sakura were the only ones that didn't have the stakes, so they've had to be trellised, so that slowed us down a bit. And while they're doing that, I'm gonna run the drip lines so that as soon as we can sort of get in and around them, we will hook up the drip and irrigate. But right now, we're just getting everything sort of in place and hoping to wrap it all up within an hour and a half so that no one's working after 4. Okay, this is not the focus of this sort of week, but we're always gonna throw in little anecdotes. And this, I just wanna quickly share a few tips on running drips. So first of all, I just ran them out all in advance. Then now I have my headers here to attach them. For those that don't know what drip irrigation is, it's these nice drip lines. They have like perforation in them. So every 8 inches there's a hole that just slowly drips irrigation when it's under a certain pressure. And then our irrigation headers have like a pressure regulator so that there's not too much pressure coming through. So a really good tip is to keep your pump on, and then, so I'll show you right here. Hopefully you can see this nicely, and hopefully I don't get it wet. But I'm actually gonna put this onto the header here, and then I'm gonna turn the pump water on. That little bit of resistance is gonna help me get the header, like get the drip tape all the way down. Without that on, and with it dry, without that resistance, it's really difficult to kind of jam this thing on there. You can see how I'm sort of struggling. Another trick is, sometimes they don't line up perfectly, and that's okay. It's not ideal, but we just readjust. So ça. Are tightened out and tightened to the end. I'll show you how we fasten them down there with staples, and then they'll be fine. They're just basically rerouted, and as long as there's no kink that's too tight right here, that's going to suppress, like you don't want to suppress a volume of water that's going into it. As long as there's not too harsh of a kink, it's totally fine. And that's just like rerouting them. So these are 3 rows on here. I would prefer 4, but just today, because of situation, and we'll just see how 3 does. It's like split in the middle. It'll just be 1, 2, 3, servicing the 4 rows. That's it. I'll show you what we do at the far end to fasten them down. Drips also out in the field tend to blow all over the place. They still do a little bit in the greenhouse, but what we do to combat that is staple them along the way. So normally I do 1/3 and 2/3 of the way down the bed, 1 staple on each drip line. But in the greenhouse, I'm just gonna go halfway, and I think we should be good. So you can buy the stoppers if you want, but you can fold these, and then I've cut off a piece like this as a sleeve, and then you just fold this once, twice, 3, heck, let's go 4. We can do this. There we go.
Yeah.
So then you've got this, and then to finish that off, we're gonna take the staple. We've placed a staple halfway down to help us with the direction, but this is to get it nice and taut. Let's find some soft soil. And then just a little wrap around, in, and she's locked. So 2 beds down and 1 more to go. So we're in good shape, and I'm going to get those tomatoes tomorrow morning. So that's really good news. So this is Farm Agricola. These are the folks that are giving us the rest of the grafted tomatoes. So I'm with Natalie here from Farm Agricola, and she's giving me a little tour. As I mentioned, this farm is an incredible farm on the Quebec side that, well, we kind of aspire to, but they kick butt. Let's take a little tour and see what they're up to.
Awesome.
I had an absolutely incredible tour around Farm Agricola with Natalie, but unfortunately for the sake of this video, I'm not able to dive into all the talks we had. We walked around and I had a huge interview with her like along the whole tour. For the sake of this video, I think it's best to just keep to some of the visuals, and then I'm gonna post later a walkthrough with her, and I'd even love to go back to get a more in-depth conversation with her because it was cut short. She only had an hour, I had my baby with me, and it was a bit wild. So I would love to go back and get a full tour of their farm and a full interview because what they're doing there is absolutely incredible. Okay, so I'm just back from that lovely tour of Ferme Agricola, and I have the grafted tomatoes, and then now I need to quickly unload them. So some look better than others. When they mentioned to come get them, they said like they're in too long. So we're gonna pot them up, and some we're gonna plant as well. So tomorrow we're gonna do some planting and potting up so that these can come back. And yeah, regardless, so thankful to them. That was amazing and so nice to get to see their farm. And like, they're awesome and lovely people as well. So that was just great. And I hope to do more of that because that was just such a nice week getting to see 2 amazing farms. But yes, let's get to it. I wish I caught it before, but these, they pulled off the landscape fabrics from here. Let me help you. Well, you know, let me make myself useful. Yeah, pulled the fabrics off and clearly did a lot of raking to tidy these up. and then we're gonna probably rebuild them with the BCS, and these will be the flower beds. This is a permanent flower area. So minor setback. This snapped off while Cal was moving it. I think it's just aged, so it broke really easily. It'll be easy enough to just send a picture to Dubois for them to replace it for us. They'll have the part and it'll be simple, I hope. But in the meantime, until then, we're gonna have to bypass the filters. Quick visual of how we do the pump. This is a weight so that you can picture, I want this to be pulled down because sometimes it wants to float up and then it sucks air and then the pump doesn't work properly. So I have that weight on and you can picture that's a few feet below water. Like, you don't want this too long because it'll just sit on the bottom, but you do want it pulling this down. And then this is an old plastic keg that I got from one of our clients, and that's about, so it just floats, it's like counterbalance. This floats just under like 2 feet, 2.5 feet under the surface, and that keeps it afloat so it's not, you don't want it stuck on bottom sucking mud, so you want it just always sort of right between like 2 feet under the surface, but also floating up from the bottom. So these two counteract each other and do that perfectly. Okay, another quick hack I do that Cal is working on, I call it the shepherd stick, and I put the rope, like a really long rope, onto this floating tub that guides the foot valve. So that, I throw that plastic thing out, then it's got the foot valve, so that always is guiding the foot valve, and I have a piece of twine tied to a piece of rebar that I call the shepherd stick, so that I can pull it around. So here's what I'm talking about. So I'm over on the other side now with my lovely stick, pulling it away from that side. There you go. And that's how it works. So then also we always flush the lines. That water was black.
It's gonna get, and I think it's just kind of pond colored water.
Yeah, what Cal was just saying, like it was black at first and then now it's running clear, but it's still kind of pond colored. Yeah, that's clear to me. I'm gonna close mine up now. It was black at the start, so that's good we flushed.
So smart.
We're so smart. It's like we've done this before. This looks awesome, by the way. Good job, everybody. Holy smokes.
Fucking hustle.
Bok choy here, which needs an insect netting tomorrow. This bok choy will need some insect netting tomorrow, but that's it. Or a single row cover, whichever we want to do.
Which one is that for, sorry? Bok choy?
Yeah, please. Problem solved there. So the micro sprinklers are amazing again. I actually just ordered another new line. This is direct seeded carrots and beets. This is amazing. So to get home and hammer that pump setup out, and then like the tunnels are looking great, getting irrigated, and yeah, what a grind. All right guys, that wraps up week 9. Thank you so much for checking it out. Please hit like and subscribe and share with your community. Share with other farmers, share with gardeners, share with anyone you think might enjoy this. I'm really enjoying making it. I know I would have loved this when we were starting out, and I hope it's inspirational and informative. And yeah, I'm gonna keep them coming. I'm really excited about this season. Weekly vlogs all year long. I can already feel we've gone through some hard stuff, but I feel like more good is on the way. And I think there will be more bumps along the road, but I think it's gonna be a good one. So stick with us, hit subscribe. The whole year is coming at you. So thank you and follow along.